Okay, so we all know that sleep is good for us, right? But did you know that sleep also plays a crucial role in maintaining your eye health? That's right, getting a good night's rest is not only essential for your overall well-being, but also for keeping your eyes in tip-top shape. So kudos to all of you out there like myself who consider sleeping as one of your favorite all-time hobbies. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how sleep deprivation can affect your eyes and your vision, especially in the long term. We'll be covering topics such as sleep affecting dry eye disease, retinal conditions like macular degeneration, and glaucoma. Plus, stick around to the end for some practical tips on how to develop healthy sleep habits. Oh, and remember REM sleep, rapid eye movement? It turns out that may not be just for dreaming. It could also be playing a major role for your eye health too. Let's take a look. Let's first start off talking about how sleep helps with the eyes. While you are sleeping, the eyes go through essential repair and recovery. This includes rehydrating the eyes and also removing toxins that build up in the eye throughout the day. There's also an improved blood flow that goes to the eye, which is really important for delicate tissues such as the retina and the optic nerve, which connects the eye to the brain. In one recent study from the Nature and Science of Sleep, they found that people who had more sleep disturbances at night had reduced tear production, leading to a greater risk of developing dry eye disease. And this finding was worse for people who had less deep sleep, ultimately resulting in symptoms of dryness, grittiness, red, burning eyes, all the symptoms that people typically feel when their eyes are dry. Now, speaking of dry eye, let's break this down just a little bit further. Several studies have been finding that not only just 1 or 2 nights of reduction in sleep can affect the tear film, but on a chronic scale where people are sleep deprived many nights, maybe even months, those individuals not only have a reduction in tear production, but also reduced tear film quality, meaning that the osmolarity goes up, which means there's a higher salt content in the tears. And that, mixed with the reduced tear production, means that there's a lot more friction going on between the eyelids and the cornea, and that results in burning, irritation, and even just that friction, painful feeling every time you blink. So no wonder a recent meta-analysis found that people who are either sleep deprived or have sleep disorders are almost 2.5 times more likely to have dry eye disease than people who get proper sleep. In fact, the findings of how sleep affects dry eye are becoming so clear that these publications now recommend that eye doctors like myself, if I have a patient who has dry eye, we're now should be asking our patients about their sleep habits. But definitely let me know in the comments below the like button if you have had any dry eye symptoms after, 1 night of poor sleep or many nights of poor sleep, or, if you're just somebody who's hearing this and being like, yeah, you only get a few hours of sleep every night, perhaps this is a major thing that you can do to start shifting your symptoms of dryness. Now let's talk about the retina. The retina is the delicate tissue in the back of the eye that receives light and sends that light information down your optic nerve to your brain to help you see. And lack of sleep, turns out it doesn't just affect the front of the eye with things like dry eye, it also affects the back of the eye, especially this delicate tissue of the retina. Several recent studies have suggested a link between reduced sleep quality and the development of age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, finding that people who not only have reduced sleep time, but also disrupted sleep patterns tend to have a higher risk of developing that disease over time. The idea behind why this might occur is because if you're not getting good sleep, then there's an increased amount of reactive oxygen species or oxidative stress that builds up within the cells, and there's a reduced blood flow to the eye if you're not getting the sleep, both of which are considered risk factors for developing macular degeneration. And another condition that may be linked to poor sleep is that of glaucoma. Glaucoma is a group of eye diseases that affect the optic nerve in the back of the eye. While glaucoma is often associated with an elevated pressure of the eye, a lot of people can still have normal tension glaucoma, where their eye pressures are otherwise normal. So Even if you feel like your vision is fantastic and not bothering you, it's still good to get your eyes checked every year just so your doctor can catch if you might be developing glaucoma or not. But currently, it is widely accepted that people with poor sleep patterns are at a greater risk of going on to develop glaucoma. And a recent study out of Korea found that people who had less than 6 hours of sleep, but greater than 8 hours of sleep at night, did have a higher risk of developing the disease. And interestingly, people with glaucoma do seem to have a greater susceptibility for sleep dysfunctions, including obstructive sleep apnea, snoring, and insomnia. It's also been well known in the eye care community that people with sleep apnea, a condition that causes fluctuations in breathing patterns during sleep, have a much greater risk of developing glaucoma. And this is believed to occur because of reduced amounts of oxygen and blood flow that get to the optic nerve, causing damage to the nerve and increase the risk for vision loss. Now, I do want to share an interesting side note and something that I found during my research for this video. I came across a theory about REM sleep, rapid eye movement, right? The part of our sleep cycle that's attributed with having a deep dream state. And the theory goes that perhaps we didn't develop the need for REM sleep as a species just because of the need for dreaming. Like, why do the eyes have to shake back and forth? And perhaps that the shaking back and forth is because it helps with our eyes. You see, the front surface of the eye, called the cornea, the window to the eye, the cornea requires oxygen, and it gets that oxygen from the air that is surrounding us and touching the surface of your eye, but also from the aqueous humor inside of the eye. This is the fluid that kind of works as the clear blood fluid, replenishing everything on the inside of the eye with healthy nutrients. In fact, this aqueous humor inside of the eye is constantly spinning due to a convection current. This is because of the temperature differences on the outside of the cornea. Again, air touching the surface of the cornea and evaporation of the tears cools off the front surface. And then there's the internal body heat in the back of the eye, and that creates this spinning effect of the aqueous humor. But while you sleep, your eyelids close, which prevents oxygen from getting to the cornea, but also that prevents the cooling effect, and then the temperature differences become almost the same, which means that the convection current of the aqueous humor more or less stops, which also means that there's no aqueous getting to the front of the eye to replenish the amount of oxygen that it needs to stay healthy. So the theory is that as a species, we developed this shaking of our eyes while we're sleeping because that shakes and jostles up the aqueous humor and makes it more uniform, allowing the oxygen-rich aqueous humor to get to the cornea to keep it healthy. So this is one reason why people who don't get as good of deep REM sleep or are frequently woken up throughout the night may have a greater risk of developing metabolic stress inside of the eye. At least that's what this theory may suggest. But overall, something I thought was pretty interesting, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, so for here, I didn't want to just leave you with a bunch of fun facts about sleep and the eyes. I want to leave you with something that's actionable, something useful. And so here, I'm going to share some top tips of things that you can do to help improve your own sleep habits. Number one is to stick to a sleep schedule. This means trying to go to bed and wake up at a similar time every day of the week, not only during the week, but also the weekend, which I know was a really difficult thing for me when I was in high school and undergraduate college, because I wanted to stay up late and hang out with my friends on the weekends, but I usually ended up paying for it throughout the early part of the week, right? Monday mornings were really difficult. But maintaining a good sleep schedule not only helps you maintain and have regular good sleep every night, but also can help you with memory formation, which honestly is one of the reasons why I think I did so well when I went to optometry school. I was getting regular, consistent sleep the whole time. Number two is to create a restful environment. This means prioritizing your bedroom or wherever you sleep as a place of rest. This means having the room to be dark, to be quiet, and most people like sleeping in a room that's a little bit cooler. Also, a few hours before sleep, like 1 to 2 hours, try to avoid having any sort of blue light exposure, meaning putting away your digital devices, because blue light from those devices have been found to interrupt our sleep patterns. I personally have even gone an extra step of not using my smartphone as my alarm anymore. I instead leave that in the living room to charge overnight, and I purchased myself an older style analog clock to keep in the bedroom. I find it just sort of forces me to have better habits. Number 3 is to limit caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine does tend to stay in our system at least around 6 hours. Otherwise, if you're really sensitive to caffeine like myself, it may last even greater, like 12 hours. So it's best to stop drinking caffeine before noon. And while alcohol is known to help some people fall asleep faster, having alcohol can also reduce the quality of your sleep, leaving you waking up in the morning still feeling kind of tired and groggy, like you really didn't sleep much at all. Number 4 is to exercise regularly. Getting physical exercise will make you feel more tired and have you fall asleep and have deeper sleep toward the evenings. Just make sure to avoid participating in physical exercise right before trying to go to sleep. Otherwise, it may wake you up. And number 5 is to try to develop good sleep-wake cycle habits. Our bodies have a natural sleep-wake cycle, which is strongly influenced by the exposure to light. So it's often recommended that in the mornings that you can go for a walk for at least 20 minutes outside, either during sunrise or after the sun has already come up, and do that without wearing any blue light blocking glasses, because that sunlight will wake up your brain and help you shut off any melatonin that you could be producing, helping you be more awake and alert. Also, in the evenings, try to be conscious of how much artificial light you are entering into your eyes after the sun has gone down, because that artificial light can also influence your melatonin production and shut that down. And in the evenings, after the sun has gone down, you want your melatonin to start producing naturally. That again is why it's important to be aware of how much blue light from digital screens and even from blue light coming from cooler LED lights you may have in your home. And if you can, try sleeping in total darkness, or if you can't accomplish that, then getting a sleep mask. I have a couple different ones I've tried. I think they help. And for my final tip, if you want to try it, there is a product out that's called the Dry Eye Drink, and they make a PM version. This PM version has some melatonin in it, along with some chamomile extract and some valerian root extract. And this is mixed with some other vitamins and natural anti-inflammatories that have been shown in research to help with dry eye disease. Whether you have dry eyes or you just want to try it out, you can save 10% on your order if you order it through helpmize.com and use my discount code DEH10. I know when I take it, I do fall asleep really fast and I sleep hard. Now, whether you get good sleep or not, if you're somebody who wakes up and your eyes are red, irritated, and even more dry feeling, this could be in fact because somebody is not sleeping with their eyes closed 100%. And to learn more about that, what exactly is going on, and how to manage it, check out my video on that exact topic coming right up over here. Thank you so much for watching. Keep an eye on it, and I'll see you in that next video. Peace.